Welcome back. In this video we're going to look at the rates of reaction. This is how fast a reaction is going to occur. There's no way really of knowing from a balanced equation whether it's going to be very fast or very slow. But there is something that you can predict. If you know that reactants are being used up at the same rate that products are being made, you can know some relationship, and we're just going to look at that relationship today. I'm going to give you an easy example. If I take Oreo cookies and break them apart into two half Oreo cookies, then we're going to see here, I've got kind of a chemical reaction here. One OR, which is one Oreo cookie, is going to be broken into two half Oreo cookies, HOR. Now let's look at a rate. Remember, a rate is how fast that you're doing it. How many are being broken apart per second or per unit of time. So let's imagine that I can break apart an Oreo cookie in 1 second. In 1 second, one Oreo cookie is being broken apart, and in that same second, two half Oreo cookies are being produced. So that means in the same amount of time it takes me to break apart one, I'm producing two. So let's look at my rate. What would my rate of my reactants going away be? It would be negative since they're going away. The rate's going to be negative, and it's going to be 1 divided by 1 second. So you're going to end up with a unit of 1. What about my reactants here? I'm having 2 in 1 second. That means that I have a rate of 2. So this is twice the rate of production as I have breaking down. Okay, so that means that I'm going to have to do some fudging if I want these rates to be equal to each other, which is going to be very helpful when you actually do one of these problems. So look what I've done. I've set them equal to each other, but if this is twice the rate as the first, if the products are twice the rate as the reactants, then I'm going to have to actually change it a little bit to make them equal. If this is twice and I want to make them equal, I'm going to have to divide the rate of the second one by half, by 2, or divide it by 2. Okay, so let me just show you that 2 and that half is actually related. If it were 3, I would divide by 3. If it was a 4, I would divide by 4. You're going to need to, if you want them equal to each other, which is extremely helpful in a minute, you're going to realize that if you have the coefficient of 2, you're actually going to divide it by 2 when you want to try to find the rate. So let's look at this generic formula. I've got a very general reaction here. Little a, little b, big B. This just means the little a is the coefficient of the first reactant. The little b is the coefficient of the second reactant. The little c is the coefficient of the first product, and the little d is the coefficient of the second product. So just like we had one Oreo being broken into two half Oreos, and then I divided by the 2. This is what we're going to have down here if you look at it. First of all, the reactants are here in the front. They're going to be negative because they're going away. Reactants are being used up. Products are being made. It's going to be positive. So these numbers here are going to be positive over on this side. And I've set them up equal to each other so that you can actually use the balanced equation to figure out, if I know the rate of reaction for something, I can find it out for something else. So I'm going to set them equal to each other, and by doing that, I'm going to divide by whatever the coefficient is. If the coefficient is 1, like it was on the reactants of the first, I divide by 1, no big deal. But if the reactant is something else, then I'm going to divide the 1 by that number. Okay, so let's look at this. Negative 1 over A is the concentration of A. Okay, well, negative 1 of B is going to be whatever the coefficient of B on the bottom times the concentration of B. Likewise here, whatever the coefficient of C, it's going to be 1 over C times the concentration of C, and 1 over D times the concentration of D. So this is going to be something that you're going to need to write down several times to make sense to you, and then we'll use it in an example in the next video.